Okay, so I just want to turn the recording on. As we get started, we're going to do kind of go tile by tile with our speakers. Like I said, this evening we're very fortunate to have a variety of trail people that touch many different industries around the state, different industries, different avenues that all play into the trail industry. So first, we're going to start with Miss Jenny Cook. Jenny is the Trail System Regional Representative. And then Jenny, I'll kind of let you kind of say your own accolades as well. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sasha. So happy to be here tonight, and so happy everyone could join us. So we're just really excited in Michigan to celebrate our trails and our the places where we can, as horse riders, access public lands. And I'm part of the Equine Trails Subcommittee, and it is a group of 5 people who are help and report back to public land managers. And we're appointed by the governor as to work with public land managers across Michigan. So Michigan's divided up in certain regions, and we also have a statewide tourism representative. So we're excited to have the support with the public land managers and with the governor. And so it's really a unique way to keep conversation going. And we try to talk about how we can work well together and also have safety and etiquette on the trails, and also highlight the many, many ways our horse volunteers and the associations give back to their communities and to the state of Michigan, and how we just enrich our own communities by helping on the public lands. Would you like me to continue then? We'll keep on rolling then. So basically, our Michigan horse trails, we're so excited because Michigan is the trail state. And so with so many miles of designated trails, we've identified as Michigan has the most trails of all states in the nation. So we're celebrating the trail users, the horse trail users also. And there's just many ways throughout Michigan that the trail users are the horseback riders are out on the trails. And just for a few areas, I just wanted to share with you. Of course, most people are aware of the Shorter Shore Trail, which goes from Lake Michigan to Lake Huron. And then also we have competitive mounted orienteering, where this is a competition with using your compass skills. And we also have Great Lakes distance riding, and riders run from 15 to 100 miles across Michigan. And we have riders from all over the United States that come and compete here in Michigan. We also offer fox hunts on trails, and this is a great educational experience for the horses, dogs, and riders. Also, our equine we have an equine therapy on trails. So there's many different ways through mental, physical, emotional, and even substance abuse that they're finding that we're using horses out on trails for therapy. So our communities are alive and well with that. Also, there's many places across the state who have horse rentals for the people who do not actually own a horse at this time. And it's a great way to get in touch with horses and nature and enjoy the outside. Maybe you might not want to walk many, many miles, but if you get on a horse, they can carry you across the trails and over the hills in a way that you maybe have never experienced before. So we're just really excited about how important trails are to us as horseback riders. And we're just so thankful for the many, many associations that have the trail associations that have taken care of our trails and developed them and helped with pavilions and camping. And we donate through our different organizations, the trail organizations. There's nearly 40 or more trail organizations across Michigan, and we're donating over $500,000 annually just with our services and our volunteer efforts, also with materials. So trails mean a lot to us, and we're just really thankful for them. And we're just really thankful that Michigan, the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, and other public land managers support us and are happy to have us out on the trails. So that's kind of a recap of things, and just really thankful that we can meet here tonight and kind of talk a little bit about how important that they are for us. For instance, for myself, we only own a few acres to house our horses, but to get them to exercise and to have them get out and have a different area to enjoy, we really like to get them out to public lands and to have long distances, 10 miles or more, to be able to ride our horses. And so it's really healthy for them and for us. So that one of the other things we're trying to do with the DNR and other public land managers is we're trying to support trails by etiquette and education and safety. And there's just 3 points I just want to make tonight before I end up here. And that is, we'd like you to do 3 things. It's stop, speak, and stand back with a smile. So maybe that's 4 things. But we could even smile, you know, if you're having a mask on. So it's okay, and it's good to do, and we just need to be friendly out there and extra courteous to others. So we appreciate when people stop, because that communicates that they see us as trail users, and that they will know that the next thing we want them to do is to speak. And to speak helps the horses know that the other trail users are just another human and nothing that they need to be afraid of. So that really helps a lot, is speaking. The last thing is to stand back, and that is for the whole group to stand back on the same side of the trail with your children and dogs contained, and then we'll safely walk by or pass you at a walk. And if we can get on the same page with that and let both equestrians and other trail users know, I think we'll really enjoy the trails and have a lot more opportunities on the trails, and it'll be a much more enjoyable experience for all of us. So thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Awesome. And like I said, if no one has questions right now, don't worry. We did save some time at the end for questions as well. So as the night progresses, we'll definitely throw some questions at all our panelists. So like I said, if you don't have any now, we will circle back around to do some later. Jenny, I did give you privileges to share your screen. Did you want to show anything on that website you mentioned earlier this afternoon?
Okay, I'm not quite sure how to do that. So if you want to put any of those articles that I sent to you, that'd be great. Maybe showing the trails, or yeah, I'm actually
Okay.
quite not sure how to
Yeah,
do
no
that.
worries. What I can do is I can post, Jenny sent some links to me this evening or early this afternoon. And like I said, I'll put them in the chat function of this as well. And like I said, if anyone's not able to access the chat function this time, we will email that out as well after for anyone's on this. So like I said, either way, but I'll put those in the chat function here so you can capture them. So Jenny, thank you for being with us tonight. And like I said, if you want to stick around, we'll throw some questions at you, I imagine, toward the end.
Hey, Jenny, let me ask you, what are some of your biggest challenges?
Oh, that's a great question, Daryl. We have quite a few different challenges here in Michigan, and we're hoping we can work through some of them. But probably one would be user group. So that when we are on the trails and there's other user groups who might not be aware of what they should do when they're around horses. We recognize that there's horses have disappeared in a lot of areas, and compared to say 50 years ago. And so a lot of people have not had the access to horses, and so they might not quite know what to do when they see a horse. So we're trying to help with that, the stop, speak, and stand back on the trails, and trying to get everybody on the same page there. That's one of our areas. Another area is we just like to investigate and see if we can have access to other areas where possibly they're state game areas, but they are purchased with different monies and with different priorities. So that's a challenge. Some of it is we are also, there's habitat of protected species. And so if there is a habitat of a species that is being watched or protected, they would prefer horses stay out of the area. So we're trying to work with a lot of wildlife divisions and let them know that horses won't bother birds or butterflies or snakes or turtles, and that we can coexist. And horses are prey animals, so they're not going to be predatory at any of those creatures. And so we're just hoping that we can work more with other departments and help with educating. And if they have more, we hope that if they have more education and more interaction with horses and horse owners, then some of the questions or fears may be able to be resolved, and we can, again, get on the same page.
Question. Hello?
Appreciate it. Yes.
Hi, this is Christina, the co-chair for the trails. I have a question for you, Jenny Cook. How long have you had this division called, I can't spit it out right now, but the division you were with the DNR, how long has this been in existence?
Yes, the Equine Trail Subcommittee, I believe, has been, I could be corrected, available since about 2012. It might have been even before that. So I've been involved since 2018, and it's usually a 4-year term, and then we can either be go for another 4 years, or we can let someone else come in and use their energy too. So we just saw that there was a need with our public land managers to have a handle or some ideas, communication basically right from the user group. So that's kind of how that came to be, and it's been really helpful because we've been able to really have candid conversations about how we can improve.
Thank you, Jenny Cook. I have to say, I know this is a pretty recent thing. I've been in the trails for many decades, and you guys are pretty recent in my book. And I have to say, this is one of the most wonderful things that has happened for the trail. And I am just so excited about you guys and the connection with the DNR. And I am grateful. It has helped us at Mayberry with our connection with our DNR. They are wonderful to work with, and I'm grateful for it.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments, Christina. So that's really encouraging, and it's good to hear that. And I'm glad things are going well in Mayberry, and we're hoping that we can again have more opportunities, and we're thinking with more education and understanding that will happen. So thank you for your encouragement.
Let me know how I can help you guys.
Okay, good. One of the other areas that I know I'm a little over my time, so I'll finish that up, is shoreline horseback riding. So that's been a desire from a lot of equestrians. So we're really thankful for the Michigan Department of Natural Resources that they have allowed us to have a few pilot rides where we're checking out where we can ride horses on the shoreline. So we've had a couple rides in Muskegon State Park and Silver Lake State Park, and those were with use permit passes and liability insurance, since we were bringing horses to a public land that was not declared horse friendly. So we're really thankful for the Department of Natural Resources working with us and thinking out of the box a little bit. And we're hoping that we can get something figured out where this can be maybe a season or something that we can have more often, because there's a lot of interest with riding horses along the shoreline. The footing's great. It's a nice place to be in the fall when we can be out of the woods and away from the hunters. And so it's just another opportunity. And it's also great education for our horses and for us, because it's rising up to a challenge and working through that and working on all the trust that we have with our horses. And it just really helps the value of our horses too, to know that they can trust you enough to go into water. And it's also a great photo opportunity and therapy place. So we're excited about in many levels of shoreline horseback riding, and we'll just see how that develops. We've had high water levels, so we're hoping that some of those water levels go down soon and we can get something a little more organized in that department also.
Again, Jenny, thank you so much. So if you don't mind sticking around, we'll probably rope back around to her toward the end. Next, we'll move to our next panelist, Amy Sharman. She is our Trail System Regional Rep, and I'll also let you add any other additional titles you have. But we're so excited to have her join us as well. And Amy, without further ado, you can take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm also on the Equine Trails Subcommittee with Jenny Cook. I serve as the Southeast Rep and the chair for that. And I'm also on the board of Pinckney Trail Riders, Kensington Trail Riders, and I have done the website for Brighton Trail Riders, Pinckney Trail Riders, and Kensington Trail Riders. And I'm also a member of many of the trail groups out there throughout the state. I definitely support all of them. Sorry. For a minute. So I wanted to talk about my where we can ride in the state of Michigan. And my winter project was putting together a Michigan Horse Trails directory, because actually for many years now I've thought that Michigan needed this directory. Some of the other states have had them, and it was very helpful when I was looking for places to go camp, like especially the state of Ohio has a ton of really great riding, and they've had a directory for a very long time. So it was very easy to figure out, you know, where all you could go ride and camp in that state. So that was my winter project. So I'd like to share my screen now and kind of look at that website. Okay, so this is the website that I put together. And
Hey, Amy, I'm not sure it's sharing yet, but you should have privileges to it. So if you go share, I think I gave it access to all of you, to you.
I hit it, but let me see. Share. Oh, right here. I see. Is that going?
Not yet. Oh, there it goes. Perfect.
Okay. Sorry, I haven't done this yet. So, so anyways, the homepage shows that we, it talks about what the website does, and it has a link. I also created a Facebook group to go along with this website, and what it's kind of morphed into has been highlighting each and every one of the trail and camping opportunities throughout the state of Michigan, which, you know, I still have many to highlight, but that's what I've been working on. You know, either I've written the descriptions because I've visited these areas and know them well enough, or I'm enlisting the help of people that know the areas, you know, better than I do. And then what I'm finding is I'm posting, you know, just that I need pictures for the areas, and riders are more than happy to share their pictures of these riding areas, and that really attracts people to these areas. The pictures really do it. The description helps. The description gives them all the info they need to be successful in visiting these areas and having a great trip, and the pictures draw them in. So I broke it up into highlighting all the Michigan trail groups in our state, and the different regions of the state. And I stuck with our ETS regions. So yeah. And Michigan Horse Council, I did want to mention this, did agree to sponsor the cost of the website for, I can't remember if it was 4 or 5 years, but you know, that was very nice of them to do for the trail riders. So I could just look at the Southeast trail, or yeah, these are the trails. So the Southeast trails. So this is just a list of all the trail riding areas. I can click on Pontiac Lake, and it takes you to the DNR website for Pontiac Lake, where you can find their info on it. And that's another project that I also have been working on with the DNR, is improving their descriptions of the riding areas so that people have more information when they're traveling to these areas, and making sure that the trail riding groups are given the recognition that they deserve for helping to take care for all these trail systems. And then Pontiac Lake also has a riding stable where you can rent a horse and go on a guided ride. So we were sure to include that info also.
So guys, I'm in Tennessee, and so I don't know how y'all work up there. So I'm just curious, how are you funded? Are you guys nationally, federally funded, state funded, membership funded, sponsorship funded?
For what, the trail groups, or?
Yeah, just all these groups and all the effort. I mean, you guys are putting forth a tremendous amount of effort to keep people on their horses.
Yeah,
in
the trail
great
groups
areas.
are all volunteer, and our funds, you know, we raise mostly through events, and events that we invite the trail riders to. So like a lot of trail groups put on poker rides, or they have camping weekends. And then we do apply for grants. We do like matching grants with the DNR a lot of the time if it's a DNR trail group. And then donations, and then memberships. We ask for memberships to these groups. So yeah.
So what is the membership? How many people is it?
How many people? It just depends on the group. I think groups have anywhere between 25 to 300 to, I don't know, maybe more. I don't know what MTRA has.
How many groups are there?
That I can look at. Is it working that it's changing as I change it on my computer? Are we looking at? Okay. So we're looking at the Michigan Horse Trail groups right now.
Well, right now we have your bank statement up there, but after that.
I closed everything. No. So I haven't counted recently, but as you can see, this is Southeast Michigan right here, South Central. Yeah. So that's all the trail groups I know of right now.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So I've been trying, and I always take corrections to the website, additions. I always welcome extra information, and I want to have, everybody's info up here. Everybody does so much work, and they deserve it. So one other aspect I'd like to show you from this website is trail information page. And on that, I've highlighted some of the directional trail apps that people are using and having a lot of fun with to, figure out their way around the trails in Michigan now. And also highlighting the DNR trails. They've put together this really nice equestrian trails page for us. So they have an interactive equestrian map. You can print off the maps. You can find all the campgrounds and the riding stables now. And then look at this, we're all highlighted, all of our volunteer organizations that work on the trails for the DNR. This DNR managed trails have now gotten the recognition that they deserve. So that's really cool. And it links to either their website or their Facebook page. So
do y'all have any stats, like how many people ride? How many miles are being ridden? I mean, do you have how many horses are in Michigan? What are they used for? Anything like that? Through all these different associations?
The Michigan Horse Council did a study in 2017, but I don't know that it got that in depth. Maybe Tammy can answer that, or Sasha. And
American Horse Council did do a study as well, kind of like a census type deal. And like we have some of those documentation from the legislation discussion we did. A lot of it, Daryl, too, is done through specific associations. So like I serve on the American Quarter Horse Committee as well, and they do a horse census every year. And they don't go as depth as necessarily what they're used for, but they do go, because that's how part of the funding, et cetera, all their show fees are based off of. They do a horse census based off the state. And I think it is multi-use or versatile use. It's not just performance horses, trail horses, et cetera. I think it's the physical number of horses in the state. So as Amy kind of alluded, I think there's several layers of digging that we'd have to do to get one number per se.
Okay, I'll stop asking questions.
Oh, you're fine. And I have the USFS trails, also equestrian trails. This is just a quick website. Oh, that's not what I was thinking it was. Well, that's a trail, an interactive trails page that you can pull up, but there's also a page, I think I don't have it linked here, but that you can just easily find all the trails in all the trails that the USFS manages also. So education, I included some of the MSU education resources, and but anyways, that is the website. And my project for this winter with this website will be to include also the private camping trails and Camping for Michigan. and also add the riding stables where people can rent horses. So I had enough work last winter just putting together the public access info. So this year, this winter, I'd like to add the private. So, yep, I think that's that's what I have to say about that. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Amy, for what you do. You know, it is amazing what you have accomplished with this directory. It's just amazing, your techiness.
Oh, thank you. I struggle through a lot of the time.
Good.
Awesome. Any other questions? Okay, perfect. Like I said, if we do have, like I said, Amy, if you are able to stick around, like I said, we will circle back around to, like I said, any questions. We'll have some time at the end for Q&A. So if you're able to stick around, Amy, we would definitely appreciate your time there. What we'll do next is we'll move on to Daryl Nephew with Circle Y. So again, as I said at the beginning, we definitely have a range of people on the trails, and Daryl adds to that definitely the industry of the trails. So Daryl, without further ado, you're welcome to take it away.
Well, guys, I appreciate it, man. Just listening to the couple of people before me, what y'all do is tremendous. I'm a part of some groups, athletic groups actually, and 10% of the people do 80% of the work. And I'm sure that's, they say 10 or 20% does 80, but I don't think that's true. 10% does 80, the other 10% complain. You know, it's so I appreciate everything you're doing, and I know it's sometimes it doesn't go without saying. Our company is a national company, so I can give you a national perspective. What we do when we do trails and things of that sort is we do it on a national basis, and it's hard to do state by state because there's so many needs. That's why I was asking so many questions about what y'all are doing and your most difficult things, some of your greatest needs are. We like to help in some of those if we can. Trail riding is who we are. Circle Y brand is actually owned by Tucker Trail Saddle Company. I'm part of the Tucker team. I've been actually working for this company since I was 13. That's a long time. And I have horses, came in, and for some reason, the guy that built saddles liked me. He taught me how to build saddles. I'm a saddle maker by trade. Then we bought Circle Y, then we bought Rangeman, and now we build about 8,000 to 10,000 saddles a year, depending on the kind that people want. And so there's no more Circle Ys. We build saddles for all let me back up. We build saddles for all Western disciplines. There's all the other companies that are out there now have one or two disciplines. And so we offer all, but trail by far is our largest. And in 2008, like all industry, especially our industry, took a big hit, and we lost about a third of our business along with our outlets. And so we used to have about 3,000 outlets, and now we have about 1,000. And out of the 1,000, maybe 200 are awesome, and the rest kind of drop from there. And Tom's would be one of the awesome ones, by the way, if you're looking for nice outlets. It's so we service you guys. Why we exist. I have it sitting up here. We exist to enrich the experience of the horse enthusiast. That's why we're here. If it wasn't for the effort you guys put forth to keep people on their horses, we wouldn't be here to help you with that. So I want you to know that if there's anything we can do to help, if you don't mind me saying no, I don't mind you asking. And but there are times I've helped Tammy do a lot of things through the horse fair. We've given stuff. We brought in Julie Goodnight. We do all kinds of stuff. Gave away saddles in order to kind of help you guys succeed. And I'm grateful for that. If you have any input on what we could do better, I'm totally open to that. If our saddles are good, it's because of feedback from people like you who are in them all the time. I am a trail rider. Tomorrow, I'm in West Tennessee, Memphis area, which is very flat. Tomorrow, I'll be in East Tennessee, which is very not flat. The next day, I'll be in Tyler, Texas, and on Friday, I'll be in Bismarck, North Dakota. And so all that's horse related. Thursday, I'll be meeting with Cavender, so they want to carry stuff And so I'm going to go meet with them and go up to Bismarck and do saddle fittings for a dealer up in Bismarck. And so I'm all over the place. I've been there. You know, COVID, just so you guys know, is actually, there's been winners and losers. It's actually been a good thing for us. And people are getting introduced to their horse. And there are new people getting into it, but what we are seeing are people who had horses or have horses, and they can't do anything, so they're going out and saying hi to them again. And so as a result of that, our company is doing the best it's ever done, even before 2008. I was looking earlier today at the first of the year, we had 3,000 saddles in stock. We have 139 saddles in stock. And it's not because we're not building saddles, they're just selling like crazy. People like Tom's are being very successful and they're moving through. And so people like you are getting back out. And so you should see your membership grow. You should see your trails being used more. And it's like that nationwide, not just in regions and nationwide. Some people are struggling a little more than others because of the restrictions by the areas. In Tennessee, we're maskless for the most part, but in California still, it's not so. And so our industry is going well, even though about 25% of our dealers are still somewhat restricted. And so I say all that to let you guys know we're here to help and participate, be a part of what you're doing. I like people. I've got a personal saying, I don't help people anymore. They're willing to help themselves. And you guys are helping yourself greatly, and I don't mind helping people who help themselves. So from a national company, I'm one of the owners, and just reach out to us. Tammy has my number, and I'll be glad to help any way that I can. Thank you for letting me be here. It's been a joy just listening to everything.
Yeah, absolutely, for all your support to the industry on a local, state, and national basis. Like I said, companies like you are, I truly believe, will allow the horse and equine industry to succeed in various levels, not only the trails, but various industries, because plenty of them have their shortfalls or not the quality that you guys build with your saddles. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
Absolutely. Same thing if you have time. I know, Daryl, you're traveling the next few days, but if you have time to stick around till it's said like till 8 o'clock, I would love for you to be able to filter some questions as well.
I'm here to the end.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Well, like I said, we'll move on. Like I said, and we'll roll back around to Q&A at the end there. Like I said, we do have some of our DNR representatives on. Nikki, Paul, Scott, we are thankful for you guys to be on the call this evening. Or any of you guys want to chip in? I know it said prior to the recording of the call, and some people are still hopping on. Nikki, you were kind of briefly going through some of the explanation of the DNR's role. Would love any or all of your guys' input as well.
Well, why don't I start out? And again, this is Paul Young from DNR, and we've got Scott Pratt also online, and he handles our facilities for the state of Michigan, the state park facilities. But the state of Michigan, we've got over 1,000 miles of state designated horse trails. Those are linear trails, and those are trails within the parks. We have 20 equestrian campgrounds around the state. We have riding stables. We ride on state park land and on state forest land. We feel pretty fortunate. One thing we talked about partners, we're really fortunate with the number of partners we have out there. If it wasn't for partner groups like Amy talked about, we wouldn't be anywhere. It's a pretty good system around the state. One thing we are proud of is, as Amy mentioned, our interactive maps. We've been working on that a couple of years, and it's out to the public that anybody can use it. You click on the website, you can click, you can ratchet down to a particular state park or state forest or linear trail, and it'll give you a lot of details on that. So we're pretty proud of that. Let's see, you know what? I was really interested in the last speaker on that economic data. And that's something that we're always clamoring for and need that. So that was good. Like I said before, we've seen increased use around the state, from 70 to 100% higher. We've seen unprecedented growth, on our motorized side of things with ORVs, mountain bikes. You can't buy a mountain bike trailer. You can't buy a mountain bike, so, and I'm glad to hear the same issues with the equestrian side of the business. So that's good to know. Projects, we have projects. Our trails group, we have about 22 people, 21, 22. We've got projects that are going on all over the state, and that's cutting in new trails, identifying staging areas, new culverts, sometimes bridges. We have a lot of projects that are going on around the state. And I'll have Nikki, she can talk a little bit more about different projects. But we also have Scott Pratt, who's there, and he can talk about some of our campgrounds too. So with that, we're pretty proud of our facilities. Again, they're all around the state. We've got a very active equestrian subcommittee, and I think that's been around for over 20 years. I know the governor made that appointment a number of years back, and we meet 3 or 4 times a year, and we talk about, all sorts of issues that are between the two groups. So we're fortunate to have that. First of all, the partners that are out there, and second of all, the equine subcommittee. So with that, let me, how about if I turn it over to Scott Pratt, you want to say anything?
Hello, everyone. How you doing? Can you guys all hear? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Scott Pratt. I'm the Chief of Southern Field Operations for the DNR Parks and Recreation. And don't have much more to add than what Paul and Nikki probably going to be talking about. But just to give you guys an insight, I am the field operations guy for the southern half of Michigan. So we're going to be working with the ETS, which is our Equestrian Trails Subcommittee, on working on some campgrounds. And, there was some things on which we're going to be moving into, like equestrian only or multi-use and all these other conversations that we're going to be having. We have just formed, hasn't had a meeting yet. We are going to have an ETS sprint team, and that's, we're going to take it away from the Equestrian Trails Subcommittee, and we're going to move it into a smaller group and have those conversations, which I feel needs to be discussed, about the campgrounds, the multi-use trails, and how we separate, if we can, bicycles and horses and all that kind of stuff. So it's in the infancy stages currently right now. And the DNR, we are committing funds for improvements as well within the equestrian campgrounds and equestrian trails as well. So we're going to be able to probably allocate some funds for some improvements and stuff, and that's going to be out of our budget as well. So that's all I really have. I'm really here just to listen and have this talk and hear everyone else communicate. And if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. So I can probably hand it right over to Nikki.
Hello, I'll just add one thing, excuse me, real quick. So we are in the process right now of updating our statewide trail plan. So we've been going through a series of public meetings for those. There are 2 left this week. Tuesday night is the one for non-motorized use, which would include equestrians. And then Thursday night is our water trail use. If anybody's interested, I'll post the link here in the chat in just a minute here. Scott finished talking just a little bit too soon for me to finish posting that. So, if you can go to that website, you can see the draft goals and objectives. There's also a survey on there that talks about trail use. I know we've had a number of use surveys out recently. So the questions may seem very similar. I know Anna Lee did one that just wrapped up earlier this month. And it's survey season, I guess, but folks have an opportunity to go through that. It's about 10 minutes. It's kind of helping to, it's not directly related to the trail plan, but is helping us kind of get a better handle around some of the trail use, which obviously affects the statewide trail plan that we are updating. And then you could also register for the public meetings that are this week. If you can't make tomorrow night, the kind of the show part, so the presentation part on Thursday will be very similar, will actually be the exact same as what's there on Tuesday night. We just kind of broke them down. We had some by region and some by use type, just to kind of help focus some of the input. But if you can't make tomorrow, then please take a look at Thursday. And then also the recordings of the previous ones are up on that website as well. So I just want to add that in, and then I want to be respectful of your time, and we'll try to wrap up, and obviously we're all going to stick around if there's questions or anything.
Awesome. Thank you to all of our DNR folks. I think it's without any debate that you guys play an integral role of Michigan Trails, and without you guys, we wouldn't be able to have this conversation and have the trails that we have and support the industries like Daryl's and whatnot. So thank you for being on and your commitment to Michigan Trails, like I said, at a local, state, and regional level. With that,
Thank
like I
you.
said, we are to that point where we'd love to open it up for some question and answer. You can direct it toward a specific panelist. You can direct it toward any of them, and any of you guys are welcome to kind of pitch in. I also know, like I said, on the call, we have several other expertise in the area that have spent, like I said, years in this industry. So if anyone has information to add into the conversation, we're welcome to open it up. But like I said, just make sure, like I said, unmute yourself first, because I always forget that as well. Like I said, if you'd like, any questions or answers.
Hi, Sasha. This is Christy Walls, along with Amy and Nikki and Jenny. I'm also on the Equine Trail Subcommittee. Lots of interesting information being brought out by these folks and some input from Daryl at Circle Y. I guess that my question would go to Michigan Horse Council and asking what you want to do with pulling this information together from this meeting today.
Absolutely. Christy, thank you first for joining us this evening. I really appreciate you joining us and bringing your expertise as well. For primarily the purpose of tonight, the Michigan Equine Coffee Hours is a joint partnership between Michigan Horse Council and a generous sponsor of ours, which I'll introduce toward the end. And the idea of these were to, just raise awareness of various topics in the equine industry, serve as a platform for anything from trail riders to quarter horse people to barrel racers to reiners to shoppers, etc. So the purpose of tonight's primarily was, just to raise awareness on Michigan trails and bring people of various occupations, recreations, people from the legislative side to the retailing side to the management side, and really just support the industry as a whole. So like I said, I think that was very evidently done, and we appreciate everyone, Christy, including yourself, for including that information.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions or comments, I should say, for me or the panelists, I should say?
Yeah, I've got a question, I guess, or a comment, probably more for the DNR. Our Shore to Shore Trail, I've been bringing this up to several different people here lately, as far as getting a designation for equestrian and hiking use only. I know you guys want to do a lot of shared use, but my point is, I guess, is that this trail has been developed for equestrians by equestrians and maintained, the trail sections themselves, by the equestrians. And I guess I don't see a reason that we don't have some kind of protection for it, especially in this amount of years. So I guess I'm looking for you guys to come up with a way to give us some kind of designation or protection for this trail, so we don't have to share with ORVs or bicycles that could become a big problem.
So let me, I see Paul just popped up too, but let me address that real quick. We did talk about it on the last ETS meeting, that was brought up. And that is something that our northern trail staff has also brought to our attention as well. So it is something that we're looking at. It's with the way that the Shorter Shore is put together, with part of it being on roads and some on private property and some on state forest, and just that big mix of land ownership,
Right.
does pose some, I guess I'll say, logistical issues. So it'll be a lengthy process to get that designated. But I think it's something that our northern field staff is willing to start to dive into. So it has been talked about, and we've talked about it on the last ETS, and then we also with the field coordinator. So with Ron Yesney, Greg Kinzer, Paul, myself, and Debbie Jensen, we've also talked about it a little bit since then.
Great, appreciate the information. I hope that we can move forward with something like that. It just should be done for what we have out there to protect. Also, another thing we're looking at, to complete the North Spur. Right now, it ends basically at Stony Creek. As you know, Michigan Trail Riders lost our Mullet Lake camp. So we're right now, the North Spur stops at Stony Creek. So we're trying to get a new camp put in at Sheboygan. We've been working with the DNR for over 5 years actually on this. We thought we had a site all picked out. The DNR actually went in and pulled put a culvert in, and then kind of changed what was going on, and figured we needed about $180,000 in gravel in order to use that site. So it kind of changed things, and now we're kind of looking still and have not found anything. So we're trying to get somebody to work with us and move things along a little bit quicker. Again, 5 years to get a new camp, and that would give us a complete shore to shore again from Osco all the way to Mackinac. So I don't know who we need to talk to, but we've been working with.
This is Paul Yoff. Let me jump in on that. We've got Greg Kinzer, who's our Northern Field Coordinator, Rich Hill, who's our district parks manager up there, and a couple of other people. So we've met, I think 3 or 4 times in the last month on that particular, and we're looking for options right now. We're going to look at one that's down in right in Sheboygan. Do I have the answer right now? I don't. But yeah, we did lose that one campground, and I think that was on private property, if I'm not mistaken. But we are meeting. In fact, I've got some scenarios to look over that Keith Haley put together, and he's our staff landscape architect and planner up there. So I just want to let you know that we're looking at options. We know there's a need. Sometimes it gets costly. We're trying to keep the costs down and be as proactive and creative as possible right now on getting an option. So stay tuned. We'll have an answer for you soon.
Great. Yeah, I've been working with Rich Hill and Keith Kelly both actually, and I met with them here a couple different times up there looking at the sites and the one into town. And we're hoping that can get pushed through somehow or approved. It seems like the city's ready to welcome us with all the trails. They're a trail town, and I think it's a good place to go forward and complete that north spur to make another riding section for the state.
I'd really like you to consider that fairgrounds, and I know there's some issues there, but we're looking at other parts of the state using fairgrounds because a lot of those are equine friendly, and they've got camping facilities and water and electric and some of these elements that are really compatible. And we can create other uses within the city too. I can see bringing the equestrian committee, bringing equestrian groups into some of these cities. I think it would be really exciting for the community. But lots of things are happening there, and we'll see what we can put together. And I thank you for your support.
This is Christy Walls. Can I jump in here for a second? I have questions and comments, I guess, both for you, Paul, and also possibly for Mr. Nephew with Circle Y. Paul, if you're looking at different locations, I thought for a second I was muted there, but I guess I'm not. If you're looking at different locations, are you bringing in people like Chuck Fanslow to look at those locations with you to analyze if they're logistically large enough for a shore-to-shore ride and the capacity of horses there?
We are. I'm not. I'm not up there. I'm in Lansing. But
Well, I understand that, but
we've got Greg Kinzer, who's our trails person. We've got Rich Hill, who's the park manager or the district manager, and we've got Keith Paley. And then the groups. We're not going to do this ourselves. It's the users who need to make sure it meets their needs. So no, it's
right. And it sounds to me like Chuck Fanslow is not aware of some of these things, the potential irons in the fire that you've got going on, and he probably should be on the front end because you may be able to stop from spinning in places where they're not going to be feasible, that kind of thing.
Christy, who was the person you were saying?
Chuck Fanslow, the gentleman that was just speaking, the president of the MTRA.
Yeah, so Chuck's on the phone. So Chuck, have you been part of the? You said you were working with Rich and Keith. Can you tell us what that looks like?
We've been working together. Like I say, it's been like over 5 years now. We've been working on this project, and that's what I'm looking for, is to start to move a little bit longer or quicker, I should say. And yeah, we've looked at the fairgrounds, but then you have to cross the bridge, you know, right in downtown with horses and people in there. And then the facilities where we have to park at the fairgrounds turns into mud where we'd be camped. We need picket poles. There's just a lot of different things that we've looked at up there. The recent part that I have looked at up there with Rich and Keith that we found in the city, I believe is going to be ideal, but we're currently waiting for that to be surveyed to see if it's actually going to be big enough, because the survey is not for sure. If it does, I think that's going to be a perfect spot, but then it's working it out with the city, which we have somewhat. And as far as what the city says, we should be good there. So we're just looking for things to move forward, I guess, a little bit quicker. I've been losing patience, you know, like I say, again, 5 years is a long time to work on something and not have it really moving forward.
Thank you. So Christy, it does sound like Chuck is involved in the conversation.
That's good. I didn't understand that before. I guess then my next thing to kind of toss out there is, Daryl, with Circle Y, you asked what are things that Circle Y may be able to help with. And something like this campground, there's always a lot of expense involved. There's potential like survey costs, mega numbers of picket poles that need to be purchased, let alone installed. And of course, MTRA and their volunteer group does an awesome job of that kind of work, but contributions are always welcomed.
Yeah, so in all those thoughts or things we could participate in, we have a team for that. And any of those kind of requests, I'll be glad to front it for you, get you in touch with the right people. And so we're not against helping on any of those avenues. And so we do pick and choose, because we get requests all the time. I just want to be open with you guys. And so we do pick and choose carefully, and because of all the requests that we get, but we don't take any of them for granted. And we do say yes. So feel free to reach out to me if we could contribute in helping, or have some kind of raffle, or, you know, anything of that sort in order to help raise money and get people involved. All these things are good, but they're better if we get people involved. And so we would love to help and talk through some of those. And I don't mind talking through some of that with the team and being a part of that. But we want to see the trail riders grow. And I love it when I see a trailer going down the interstate with a young lady behind the wheel. That tells me they're my customer. You know, they're either barrel racing or trail riding most often. And so I don't mind helping with that. And I do want to say, and I'm an outsider, so maybe I can say this, and I'm going to hang up and don't have to see you guys until the Michigan Horse Fair. You know, and so the fact that these guys are able to say they've looked at 3 locations and they're not working, that's moving forward. And so what you haven't found is a location that works. And so it sounds like to me people are doing stuff, they're just not finding it. I got a friend of mine, St. Jude Hospital is here in Memphis, and he's actually he's trying to find a cure, and he's not found one, obviously. And I said, how do you look for succeeding? He said, every time we find something that doesn't work, that's succeeding. That's one thing off the list. We can move on to the next one. And so they find growth, and they find going forward and things that aren't working. Now they don't have to look there anymore. And it sounds like you guys are going forward. You're just finding things, you just haven't found the cure yet, you know, for what you're looking for. So I appreciate what you guys are doing. But Christy, we're willing to help. And so just need to know what needs to be done and reach out to me. Tammy has my cell number. She has my email address. And most often I don't answer my phone. It rings all the time, but I will respond to an email. And so please let me know how we can do that.
Okay, maybe the MTRA can get a hold of you through Tammy Tyler.
Sure.
It seems like this Shore Shore Trail and a campground associated with that might actually be a good target for Circle Y, because it is something that's used not just by Michiganders. It's people come in, like Chuck said, from all over the country to use it. So I'd be
Yeah, just so you guys know, we would like
projects.
to actually sponsor a Circle Y trail ride, and then do it, invite all the people in that state, but all over. And I'd love to pick Michigan, what y'all are doing. we'll bring in all of our resources, bring in all of our clinicians, and we could do something with it. And that would be a fun thing for us. And so, so that would bring in a lot of dollars. And we're not looking for it necessarily to make money. We're looking at it to promote trail riding. And so we can contribute the dollars.
Yeah, the shore to shore trail ride would be perfect for that.
Yeah, and so that'd be a neat thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, and I appreciate that, Daryl. The shore to shore would be a great showcase trail for Michigan. That we'll look at taking you up on your offer here.
Yeah, please let me know. I mean,
okay.
We'd like to do one in each region of the United States, and so you know, that's stuff we would love to get involved in.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Daryl, for that generous offer. Christy, thank you for those questions and comments. And like I said, everyone that provided questions or comments, this is the exact idea, Christy. It was a great question that you asked from the get-go, is what is the purpose of this platform? And this is beyond what the purpose and vision of it was, is to have an hour once a month just for whatever the topic is, to envision this exactly. So I thank everyone. Really quick, I'm just going to share my screen as well. There's someone we do have to thank specifically for the ability to have this event tonight. And I just want to, I need to make sure I do this right. And it's Gail Johnson and there it is. Okay. Gail Johnson with the Beamer Group. She's an independent distributor, and she's also with Quarter Moon Farms. And she was generous enough to sponsor these coffee chats for the 12 months that we're going to do them. And she just had a message that she would like to convey with you guys. So I'll play that really quick for you guys before we hop off.
Hello, I'm Gail Johnson, independent Beamer distributor and co-owner of Quarter Moon Farm LLC with my husband, Tim Bunce. I'm proud to sponsor the Michigan Horse Council Equine Coffee Hour. Plan to join us again next month for another informative and educational program. Visit my website to set up a Beamer demonstration and obtain more information about this amazing technology.
Awesome. So again, like I said, on behalf of Gail, myself, Michigan Horse Council, we'd like everyone to thank everyone for being here. Again, continue to watch your emails, our Facebook page, any of our partners, because like I said, all of you are in a very important role of making these be successful. Get information that Chuck asked for, Christy asked for, anyone asked for. And like I said, we thank you. And like I said, in the best effort of time and best respect of everyone's time, we'll call it an evening. We will email out the chat because I know, like I said, many people put links in there this evening. And then if anyone on this call does need, like I said, contact information for Daryl, for anyone that spoke this evening, reach out to Tammy or myself, as we have emails for everyone that's registered for this call this evening. So we appreciate it. Everyone have a safe evening, and we hope to see you next month. And next month we'll look to talk kind of about vendors and retail as we kind of gear up for that holiday. So we may see Mr. Daryl Nephew again for that chat. He doesn't know yet, but we may swing him that way. But like I said, we'll talk kind of about the vendor side, which is a very important role right now here in Michigan, especially with COVID, that equestrian retailers are really hurting right now. So really, like I said, come back and we'll bring back some of our longtime partners and whatever. And like I said, we'll take everyone later. So stay well, and we'll chat soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.